What is up, everybody? I'm George Massey. So last night, 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Season 7, Episode 14 has aired. Now, we check in with Jovi and Yara, and we are on the second stop on their European tour, guys. So we started out in Prague. Now we are in Germany, and we are watching things unfold. And Jovi seems to believe that Karina and Yara's mother are convincing her that she needs to stay in Europe while Jovi goes back to work. Now, I'm not 100% sure that Yara needed any convincing. I feel like Yara already wants to be in Europe, and the idea of leaving Europe to go home to sit in their apartment alone while Jovi goes to another country to work doesn't seem to make sense to her. Now, Twitter has a lot of interesting comments about this. So, a lot of people feel like Jovi being able to work in another country and leave for a month at a time, not just a couple of days or a week. He leaves for a month at a time, but actually telling Yara she's not allowed to stay in Europe with her own mother because he would worry about her. Now, I see this in different ways. The idea of your family staying in a foreign country can be scary because air travel can be scary, longer flights. Unfortunately, history has told us there have been times where flights did not make it to their destinations. So I don't want to take away Jovi's worry or thought process of how he feels, but I do feel as though if he wants her to go home and sit alone in the apartment with Mila, why can't she stay in Europe with her mother and friend Karina and be with people that she knows and loves and have a little support while he's gone? People feel that Jovi wants to control Yara by telling her where she can go and what she can and can't do. Now, Yara was raised by her mother, so the idea of her staying with her mother and Jovi worrying about her well being just doesn't add up to me. If anything, Yara's mother is the safest person that she and Mila can be with because this person gave Yara life, made sure that Yara was successful in the world, and would do anything for her. So is this really a control issue? Do you guys feel like Jovi is a hypocrite? Do you feel like he decided that he wants to work 6 months out of the year in another country and Yara is supposed to just sit at home for those 6 months of the year alone without any support and she's not allowed to travel? So I want to ask a question to the married people that happen to watch the podcast. If your wife or your husband or spouse wanted to travel overseas while you happen to be busy and you weren't able to give them any attention, you weren't even going to physically be there, would you tell your spouse they are not allowed to leave the country without you? And would you tell your spouse they're not to go places without you? They're not to go on vacations, they can't visit family, they can't do any of those things without you being present? Because a lot of people feel that you should be able to go and visit your parents, or you should be able to go and visit friends or family wherever they may be. And in Yara's case, they do happen to be overseas, but Jovi knew that when he went overseas to find a Ukrainian woman to marry. So where do you guys stand with this? Do you guys feel that Jovi is being completely possessive and controlling of Yara, and it's a double standard because he's allowed to accept the job where he's able to travel all over the world, work in different countries, leave for months at a time, and Yara is supposed to do exactly as he says? Because, guys, in the end, this is not the only job that Jovi can work. There are jobs local in Louisiana where he could come home every single day and see his family. He chose to work a job that requires him to leave the country for 6 months out of the year. So where do we stand with this? Do we feel like Jovi is controlling, or do we feel like Jovi is just a normal, worried husband who wants his wife and child to be safe? And I do want to bring up before I end this video, why is it that Jovi feels safety is something that the United States can offer but Europe cannot? The last time I checked on the news, the United States is one of the most dangerous countries that you can live in at this point. It's only getting worse. So the idea that Jovi feels that any other country other than his country is a place where his wife and daughter will not be safe, I think it's outdated thinking. I believe that all countries have their issues, regardless of where you are on the globe, pose their dangers as well as their safeties. All right, guys, I'm George Massey. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Massey and at georgemassey.com for all your 90 Day Fiance news, interviews, and updates.